Good morning and welcome back to our top story. We continue to follow developments out of Uvalde, Texas. A community coming together last night honoring the 19 school children and 2 teachers who were killed at Robb Elementary School. We're learning more. Let's get right now live to Uvalde, where CNN's Mike Valerio joining us live this morning. Mike, first of all, thank you for taking the time to do this. I want to begin with the victims. We were seeing the visuals of the vigil. We still see what's happening behind you. Can you sort of paint us a picture of what is going on, what happened last night, and what is happening this morning?
Bottom line, I think that more families are becoming comfortable with telling the world the stories of their children. We had those moments about 6-7 hours after the shooting of unfettered grief and rage. You just heard the screams of these parents, a couple kilometers away from where we're standing at what would have been the reunification points, and then them learning the worst about their children who lost their lives. So one story in particular really stands out to us at this early morning hour of Amory Jo Garza. She was one of the 10-year-old students who tried to call 911, the emergency number, to get police here. She was a wonderful human being, her father told us late last night, who brushed her teeth every single day, made creative art drawings for her parents, was a wonderful student at school, got a high honor roll certificate hours before, never did anything wrong. So to see her father here about 12 hours ago standing in this exact spot, just sobbing to our colleagues, trying to say that, she just wanted to do everything that she could to save her classmates by dialing police. And at that moment, according to her classmates, as soon as she had the phone, had police on the line, she is shot in the most callous way you can possibly imagine by this gunman. So I think that especially since we're preparing for the president on a day to be determined, perhaps as early as tomorrow, to visit here in Uvalde, we're going to hear more and more of these stories as certainly we as a country figure out what we're going to do or what we're not going to do if we're going to stay in the same position.
That is an incredible story here. A beautiful young woman. Mike, thank you for sharing that. I was watching the news conference yesterday, and a lot came out of it. There was a lot of discussion about mental health. There wasn't much discussion about gun reform. And I do want to focus on the victims, of course, but there is this other element to it as we learn details, a timeline of this suspect. When it comes to any possible change, I asked you the same question yesterday, and the community still felt like this wasn't going to change anything. After that press conference, is that feeling the same?
I think it probably is the same, but the flashpoint of that press conference, which was interrupted by Beto O'Rourke, who is running for the position of governor for the state of Texas. He's the liberal candidate. The conservative governor is running against him. That flashpoint of that news conference you're talking about was Beto O'Rourke saying, hey, this is not a mental health problem. We have the same level of mental health difficulties in America as the rest of the Western world. This is a gun problem. We have a profusion of weapons here in the United States. So he took great offense to the conservative governor saying on that stage that we need mental health this, we need mental health that. It was just sort of a flashpoint of him, Beto O'Rourke, saying enough is enough. We need to have a conversation of getting more of these weapons of war off of our streets. And that was very much the platform of his presidential campaign in 2019 when we had another mass shooting in El Paso, Texas, Beto O'Rourke's hometown, him saying that he wants a national gun registry. More of the burden on the individual telling the state why they need a weapon rather than the individual feeling entitled to having a weapon, as is right now their constitutional right in this country under the Second Amendment. But something that former Congressman O'Rourke pointed out yesterday, sort of bordering on the absurd from certainly his point of view, but shared by so many here, is that this gunman was able to buy not one, but 2 AR-15 style assault weapons at the age of 18. In the United States, you cannot buy booze, you cannot buy alcohol at the age of 18. You have to wait until you're 21. What is going on with that state of affairs, according to Congressman O'Rourke? So that is where we stand. We have to wait and see if this leads to any change, but we doubt it.
You bring up some really great points here, Mike. We're going to revisit you again in about 3 hours' time in our national show. Indeed, a lot can change between now and then. Appreciate your time, Mike. Thank you.